So if anyone doesn't want to be seen on the screen, it's fine for you to stop your cameras. I will start just introducing this series of webinars that we as the Let Hear Network are organizing. We try to organize at least once per term. Some of them are only for members and some others are open to everyone, like people from outside of the network, because I think that this is the way that we want to operate. We want to have more people joining, more people benefiting from our networking events. Here today with us, we will have Elizabeth and Eliroy. For those who don't know them, they are part of the Smart Education Network, which involves different organizations from all over Europe. They will be briefly mentioning them in a second. And they will be talking about project design, quality in European projects proposals. And we hope that we can elaborate more on this topic in our next face-to-face event, which will take place in the UK, as most of you know, in the beginning of June. If anyone here is not part of our network but still wants to participate, I will now write our email in the chat so you can ask more questions about it, or if you're interested in learning more about the event or the network, you can easily send us an email. And I think that's enough of an introduction. I will give the word to Eliroy and Elizabeth. You can share your screens and we can go into the topic directly. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Julia, for organizing this whole thing, and thanks everybody for being here. It's very nice to see your faces and your names. So for those who do not know us, or just a brief refresh, we have built up the Smart Education Network, which includes 4 organizations in Belgium, Greece and Germany. That started in 2020. So we are now going the past 6 years with projects that are about Erasmus+, SERV, Horizon, Alliance for Innovation, Capacity Building, and projects that are funded by the European Union, but projects that are addressing some social issues, some social problem. So the idea of this network was to respond to projects or to propose ideas that are solving problems that we all face, or to improve the quality of life of the European citizen, basically. Next to that, we do also business mentoring and mentoring of people who want to set up their own service practice. So this is a different venue, a different service line, as well as career guidance that we also do on a volunteer basis in Greece and Belgium. So this is a little bit about us. At the end of the presentation, we will share with you a QR code where you can get into our Instagram, join our Instagram channel and see all the news from our 4 organizations. For the moment, we prepared a small presentation to create a teaser for the discussion today, but for the discussions that we will have in the UK about quality assurance, about how to increase quality and how to increase quality for the proposals that we write, and therefore to increase the chances to get our proposals funded, but also for the projects that we run, because sometimes this is also increasing the chances of the next proposals we are submitting to the national agencies. The national agencies now know us quite well. I'm talking mostly about Erasmus+, but all we're going to discuss is about all EU funded projects. So we have some what we will cover today is about quality, increasing quality in proposal writing. What are the scoring criteria and what do evaluators look for? How we can improve on that. We present 6 good practices from funded proposals that became projects therefore. And then we move to the topic of implementation. How can we increase quality in the implementing while implementing a project? Four key areas that are important there that we have identified as important. How do the EU evaluates final reports? And we will share some points of attention that we have seen discussing with the national agencies the last 2-3 months. And at the end, we want to pose some questions that we can all discuss together. So we want to open the floor and discuss all together at the end. Of course, feel free to stop us or to interrupt us while we are sharing some ideas. This is not a monologue. Okay, so we will start with Leroy presenting the first two topics about proposal writing. Am I correct, Leroy?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes. And then I will jump in the implementation phase.
Thank you. So yeah, let's begin with the quality assurance and proposals. First, let's briefly look at the criteria. So what evaluators look for in a proposal. I'm sure most of you already know this stuff, but it's good to always have it in mind. Evaluation is done on 4 criteria. First, we have relevance, which is usually scored to up to 25 points. This is about whether you're addressing a real documented need and whether the objectives of your proposal are aligned with the priorities of each call. Then we have the quality of design, which holds the most points, usually up to 30 points. This criterion looks at whether the logic of your proposal is coherent. So, do your activities actually lead to your objectives? Are your outputs connected to the expected outcomes? This kind of stuff. Then we have the quality of partnership, usually up to 20 points. This criterion assesses whether your partners bring genuine complementarity and are not just numbers on a piece of paper. And lastly, the impact, usually up to 25 points. Now this looks at your dissemination plan, your expected reach, and whether the project has a life after its end date. These 4 criteria should always be the backbone of every proposal. And if you can't clearly demonstrate each and every one of them, that's where you lose points and then the proposal as well. Now, let's go through some good practices that we have identified in proposal writing. Briefly, we will talk about having clear evidence in your proposal, a clear logic model using visuals, having a concrete methodology, showing the complementarity between partners, as we said before, and connecting to the priorities of the call. Now, first of all, grounding your proposal in evidence. We've seen a lot of proposals that assert that a problem exists, but they don't actually show the problem. Evaluators are usually convinced by a proposal that presents some actual data. So, for example, a needs analysis you conducted with your target group, or some statistics from Eurostat or any other official source, or a research from a national agency. What this does is making your relevance section that we said before, it makes it a lot more stronger, and it forces you to be specific about the problem that you're trying to solve. In practice, what we suggest is conduct even a small informal survey with 20 to 30 members of your target group, which will give you something concrete to cite in your proposal. Also, of course, to reference EU level data, which signals that you understand the broader policy context. This is something that evaluators will always appreciate. Next, we have having a clear logic model. This is probably one of the most common structural weaknesses that we see in proposals. What your logic model should look like is, as you see in this chain here. First, you have the need that you're trying to solve, then the objective, your activities, your outputs, and then at the end, your outcomes. If any of these is missing or is not clear, the proposal will lose coherence. So for example, listing activities without connecting them to objectives, or describing outputs like a toolkit or a platform training module without explaining what this output is expected to produce. This will be a big weakness. Our practical advice here is to build the logic model before you start writing the narrative. So for example, you can write it in a simple table, share it with someone who is not involved in the process of writing. And if they can understand without you having to explain to them the logic, then you're good to go. Up next, we have the use of visuals. So as you know, EU proposal forms are really long, they're text heavy, they can be quite tiring, and the evaluators have to read a lot of them. So placing a Gantt chart or a partnership diagram or a simple theory of change can communicate structure and clarity a lot more efficiently than having just 2 more paragraphs of text that evaluators will have to read. It also signals that you've thought things through systematically. And what I would like to point here is that notice the word strategically. So we're not talking about just decorative graphics, pretty colors and the stuff. We mean visuals that actually carry information, have a reason to be there. For example, a timeline that shows when its activity happens and who leads it, a diagram that shows how partners complement each other. This should always be clean and easy to read. Next, we have the methodology. So making the methodology concrete. A vague methodology is one of the most common reasons that proposals score below the threshold on the quality of design criterion. So for example, if you write generally, we will organize training activities for participants, a very general sentence. Reading that, the evaluator has no idea what that means. So they will have questions. What kind of format will it be in? How long? Who facilitates it? How many people will participate, etc. Now, if you compare it to this sentence, we will organize 3 two-day experiential learning workshops facilitated by trained educators for groups of 15 participants per partner country, combining hands-on activities with structured peer reflection. Now that's concrete methodology. It shows clearly every question that an evaluator might have. And having this level of specificity matters because it shows that you have thought through the project, you have designed the project, and are not just describing a vague idea. Then we have showing genuine complementarity in the partnership. Just listing partners is not the same as justifying why they have a role in your project. Evaluators want to understand why each partner is here, why are they in your consortium, what unique expertise they bring, a network or local context that they bring that another partner would not be able to replicate. What you could do here is think to yourself, only this partner can contribute to this task because, etc., etc. If you cannot complete the sentence convincingly, then maybe it's time to reconsider whether this partner adds real value to your consortium. Yeah, the size And I want to note here is that the size of the consortium doesn't matter. What matters is the genuine complementarity, the quality of its partner. And lastly, connecting to strategic priorities, the priorities of the call that all applications have them and all proposals have them. But what distinguishes a high scoring proposal with a proposal that didn't pass is that the priorities of the call are embedded in the proposal. They're not just referenced again vaguely, generally. This means that all your objectives, your activities, your outputs actively contribute to the priority in a way that you can explain. So just having a sentence that says, this project supports the Green Deal, that is easy to spot, and it will not score well with an evaluator. They will probably think that you do not know what the Green Deal is about, that you're not really sure what you want to do with your project. So our advice here is to pick a couple of priorities that are most relevant to you, and then go back and trace how your project wants to make them a reality. So which activity, which output takes you towards the priority? The more specific the connection, the more convincing it will be. Okay, so that was it for the proposals. Now I'm giving the floor to Ms. Elizabeth to talk about the implementation.
Okay. So now we move from proposal writing to the project implementation. Before we go there, just to say that, of course, everything is important, but I have experience in different types of proposals, not only for grants, but also for tenders, that what we call the 1 million graph is making a big impact. When evaluators can see visually in one graph the concepts and the methodology, that helps them understand what we're talking about. And by helping them understand, this increases the score by some percentage anywhere in all topics. So that's a very important thing. Also helping the ones who are writing the proposal to understand where they want to go. So now we move to the project divider. We have the funding there for now, and then the challenge is to maintain the quality throughout the implementation, but also to make a very good impression to the national agency, to have the quality that we promised, and even to make a project become a good practice, which has happened and has happened also lately to us in one of the projects that were funded by the Italian National Agency, actually. We are going to cover four areas. I think, Leroy, you are moving the slides, right? Right. Dissemination, monitoring, stakeholder monitoring and evaluation, stakeholder involvement, and partnership management. There are many places where we can become important, but we have tried to group them in how to make quality important in these four areas. So let's take them one by one by mentioning some of the things that we think are important, and these do not cover everything, of course. So if we can move to dissemination, here the key message is plan it and don't improvise it. So dissemination is not a final math task. How many times have we ended up because there was not enough time in trying, not at the end of the project necessarily, but after 6 months to try to summarize what has been done in terms of dissemination. Projects that score well on impact have dissemination running from month 1, actually, from the kickoff announcement. Because from the kickoff announcement, you are starting to post on different channels of dissemination. This means that we have to post in varied channels, of course, social media, local press, partner networks, European platforms like the IPALE. There are many things more than Facebook and Instagram that we can easily post what we are doing, and actually this will help us in getting more network to our new proposals and our new projects, or being invited in projects because people see that we are doing something that they didn't know, for example. This has happened a lot of times. Posting something on Instagram counts for very little in a final report if you cannot say who saw it and why it was relevant to your target group. So a practical suggestion here is to create a simple dissemination log from the start. I think we all do that, but try to populate it on a basis that is sometimes even weekly basis. For every activity, record what has been shared, where, when, and how many people have been reached, which type of target group, if we can say. That last part is important for the national agencies. Lately, they are focusing a lot on getting the evidence correct, and they do not really want only a photograph of a workshop or a screenshot of a seminar. They want to know who participated, and not by name, but by type of organization and type of stakeholder, which actually shows whether the impact has been reached. Basically, this log is going to be our evidence for the final report, and the quality of this log will be the convincing point to the national agency that impact has been reached to the extent that they want it to be reached. If we move to the stakeholder involvement, I find this one of the most difficult elements in all countries. In the beginning, I thought it was difficult to involve stakeholders in Belgium, but I realized that it is difficult to involve stakeholders everywhere, actually. Belgium being a difficult case anyway, but it's not only that one. So here we're talking about how to find stakeholders and get them on board. This is where we struggle all the time. The reality is that stakeholders do not come to you. They do not come to us. We have to find them, approach them in the right way, give them a concrete reason why they have to say yes. So what we do is to start locally. Look at the municipality's website. Sometimes we start from very simple things that we hadn't thought about before, like getting into the municipality's website of the area where we are living or the areas around. Search for active associations in the area we are active. Check the Erasmus Plus result platform for organizations that have been involved in similar projects. And when we reach out, we keep it short and specific about why we want them. Very often, most often, we prepare a small Canva, a one-pager Canva about what it is about we want to contact them. So not a general Canva about the project. The project is about ABC, youth, democracy in whatever. But we create a very specific Canva for the activity we want them to participate. What is it? Is it a survey? Why is the survey important? What do we want from you? Is it a seminar? Why is the seminar important for the members of your organization to participate in the seminar? So we take the time to create a specific, dedicated, tailor-made Canva for inviting each one of the organizations we want to invite. So basically, we keep it very short. Also in the email that we send them, what the project is about, what we need from them, and what do they get in return? Is it visibility? Is it access to a training? Being part of a European network? The possibility to involve them in a future proposal or project? So not the generic emails. And then we take a phone call. After we send the email, we call them, we speak with them, we explain what we're doing in case they do not know us, or we revive a little bit the relationship in case they know us, but we haven't spoken for, let's say, 1 year. Very often, and what I'm planning to do next week, for example, is that we pick an organization that is very relevant for our projects, and we make a visit. So, for example, next week, I'm going to take a visit to an experimental school in Athens that they're organizing a theater activity for the end of the year. So they have prepared, the students have prepared a theater play, and I will go there to watch it, to see, to speak with the teachers, and they know us, but to remind them what we're doing and to discuss about future ideas that would be interesting for them or things that they find interesting. So the meeting I'm planning next week does not have a specific ending point. I'm not planning to involve them in a specific proposal, but it's more to keep a relationship going, to remind what we're doing, and to when we will call them in September, to have a very concrete idea about why we're calling them. So keep the relationship warm, actually. In the beginning, we try to ask them for a small commitment to a small activity rather than being an associate partner in a project or something bigger that they might fear in the beginning. These are some practical tips that we are using. Very important thing to involve the relevant and significant partners as stakeholders in our project in order to show that quality was there and the impact has been reached. Then we can move to the evaluation, the monitoring. How do we monitor all these things? We all have some monitoring, some progress reports that monitor what we're doing, but few times we do it systematically, or not all times we do it systematically. Evaluators, of course, they need both quantitative and qualitative indicators. We all know this. But sometimes we lack on the qualitative part. For example, we say that we had this number of participants in ABC the event, and that was the output, and this is how many people were reached, but we don't easily say sometimes what did the participants actually learn, how did they practice this change, how this impacted their behavior, what worked and what did not work. So that is the part that we need to make sure we have in our monitoring and evaluation reporting, so that we can show to the national agencies or to the evaluators in the centralized project that the impact has been reached. So we usually what we do, most of us, we do it, we design pre and post surveys for every training activity. Pre and post surveys, not only post surveys, because the pre and post surveys can show a little bit the behavioral difference or the inclination to change behaviors and actually have impact. Sometimes we keep brief reflective journals if we have mobilities, but also not only mobilities, small reflective journals that the participants can contribute to. And this take little time to design up front. Once you have created one for one project, you can easily adapt it to another one, but make a big difference to the evaluation. And when we are writing the final report, when we describe what we did and why what we did was important or had an impact. At the end, we have to manage the partnership. And this is in the beginning, actually, not only at the end, but at the end in a way of how important it is. A well-managed partnership leaves traces. This is what matters, and shows that we collaborated in a way that was efficient and effective. So we will have meeting minutes, task lists, records of how decisions were made when important topics have been discussed in meetings, how budget adjustments were handled. So it's good to have these things documented, because at the end, when we try to remember what was done and to put it in the final report, it's difficult to have it all in one go and explain it well and in a way that makes sense to the evaluator. Because evaluators know there's no perfect project. Things adjust, things shift. We have to make changes, but we have to be able to show how we change things. It's important in the final reporting to say what didn't go to plan, because they know that not everything did go to plan. It's normal. So important thing is not to avoid to mention what didn't go to plan, but to say how it was handled transparently and documented clearly. They know that things did not go to hand, so mention it and say how efficient and effective you were in handling the issue. They do appreciate when we have a list of difficulties or challenges that we encountered and how we solved these points. This increases the level of trust of the evaluator to the consortium and to what happened actually in the project. And mentioning this, let's go to how the EU evaluates final reports. Here we mentioned the 6 things that are important. But before mentioning that, I wanted to just mention that we see as coordinators in Germany and in Belgium. And in Belgium, we are coordinators in 2 national agencies because we have 2 organizations. And in Germany, we are coordinators in 1 national agency. So we are talking about at least 3-4 national agencies that we have been reporting. The last months we have been contacted by the national agencies also mid-term in our projects, and this we found very valuable. So for example, I will give an example of the Belgian National Agency that is following one of our small-scale event projects. We had an interim report where we have an interim meeting, sorry, not interim report. In small scale, you don't have interim reports. We had an interim meeting of the national agencies that wanted to see how we are handling the project and how and also to reflect on how they would like to see the final report. So they gave us some nice tips about what they find important in final reports, what they find less structured, where do they have difficulties in giving good scores in final reports. And this we realized they did with all coordinators of the previous year, the 2025. And also last month we followed a national agency seminar again about how to report your project results. And there the national agency mentioned that they are increasingly having difficulties in having to read good, well-structured reports and reports that reflect what happened. So we see an increasing awareness and significance that the national agency see. And actually we realize that not all applicants are having experience in writing this type of reports. So we see it in the German National Agency, we see it in the Belgian national agencies, and we hear it from others that we have to put a lot of effort in writing the final report. It's not something that we can start after the project finishes or 1 month before the project finishes. Let's write now the final report. It's not going to go well like that. Where can we lose point? What is important? What we need to realize is that the final report is not just a summary of what we did. It is evidence that we delivered what we promised. This is it. And sometimes that we delivered more than we promised. So what do the evaluators check? We summarize it in 6 things. Coherence with the application. So if they follow the application, that's very important for them. They need to tick this box. Did we deliver what we said? And if not exactly what we said, why and how did we change because something changed in the project? Evidence of impact, data, stories, who did we reach, not just activity list, but what was the quality of the output? What was the quality of what we did? What was the evidence of what we did? That goes to the quality of the output. Did what we produced actually is what we produced usable, accessible, and well done actually? usable, accessible, and well done. These are the three elements that will tick all boxes for the quality of our output. Dissemination effectiveness, we mentioned that before, strategically document everything, and also not about the numbers, but about the quality of who you reached out and what you did. Sustainability. Are the results going to be live after the project ends? Sometimes we don't mention that. We think it is taken for granted, but it is important to mention that. And often we create some online tools that are more than what we had promised in the proposal. It's good to mention all these things. Sometimes the evaluator will not realize it if we don't say it in the report. Honest reflection, they do appreciate that. How will there is honest reflection about how did we acknowledge if difficulty came up that we had not expected, or how did we manage the risk, or how did we manage something that we had to change in the proposal or in the activities. How we responded to a change is most important than the change itself. And then basically realizing that the final reports, the good ones, are not the ones that claim that everything went very well and perfectly, because there's not such thing as a perfect project or a perfect output. This shows self-awareness, good judgment, and shows also the skills that we have to solve problems, which will convince national agencies also for our future projects. So this is a little bit about final reports. I want just to say that if any of you would like to discuss anything about the final reporting or how the national agencies give us some comments about what we're doing, the seminars we followed the last 2-3 months, we are here. I know that everybody is aware of this, but since we have coordinated in the last 6 years more than 15 projects, we are open to discuss even bilaterally if anybody would like to have any feedback on their final report or any type of question about how to handle something. Feel free to knock the door, we are here. At the end, we wanted to pose some questions and to open the discussion. So we have created 5 questions that we think might be interesting, or you might have in your head some other questions that you would like to mention. So feel free. We just put them here. How does your organization currently approach QA in a proposal writing, and what did you find working? If there has been something specific that you did very well, we would be very happy to hear about that. What are the biggest gaps you see between what is written in the proposal and what happens during implementation? Where do you see this difference and this difficulty to explain it in the final report? Is there some specific case that you encountered the last 1-2 years that you would like to share with us? Or how did you ensure your dissemination impact activities are genuinely reaching the people you intended? Did you do something specific? Did you have a good case in your projects or the projects of your colleagues that you would like to share with us? What has been your experience with EU evaluation, final reports, national agency feedback, monitoring visits? What I mentioned before, we have a lot of feedback to share. Do you have some feedback that you heard about the last months, the last year from your consortia or the projects you are participating in? Please feel free to share something on this. Or what would shared QA standard or checklist look like for organization in this network? Do you have any good practice in this area of QA? So this is to open it up here, Julia. If anybody would like to share something based on these 5 questions or anything else, we are happy to hear feedback, ideas. Olena, I see.
She's raising her hand, so Elena, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sorry, I just joined you some minutes later from the very beginning. Thank you very much, Elizabeth Leroy, for how to say, first for the presentation, but also for the opening of the discussion, because I think that is actually a discussion for different groups or organizations or countries to share their good practices about how to write a proposal, how to implement the project according to the proposal, and also how to deal with interim report and final report. I will start, and I see that there are more raised hands. Then I will jump back later. That is something connected with the first question, and that is about a QR in proposal writing. My question is to everybody. I know that we have here developers of the proposals, we have here evaluators also. Then all of us use artificial intelligence. And my question is, because right now in some templates you can find the question where they ask to explain how did you use tools of artificial intelligence and why, or for what sections. Do you have any recommendations? That is a question. That is not a, let's say, a comment. That is more a question.
Yeah. If you mentioning to us, Elroy, if you have something to add, feel free. I think what makes sense is to mention the areas where you wanted to use, where you used AI, where you use any tool of AI in specific places of the proposal and why. For example, sometimes it could be for language.
Okay,
benefit the language. That is, and this is really the case sometimes, or to make the language flow better. Sometimes it is to make sure that in a specific topic that we are mentioning, we take into account all possible factors that are important. So these genuine topics we can mention, but then we should avoid having to use AI in all parts of the proposal, because it's going to be difficult to motivate it, and it's going to be difficult to make it look humanized in a way. But please feel free to join the discussion if anybody wants to say something else.
I'm just thinking about our project that we started in 2014, and that was about open educational resources, online resources. And at that time, they were not called open educational resources, but online platforms for something. And then I remember a very long discussion with some of the partners, and actually there was very strong professor from Italy who didn't believe that through online platforms you can teach languages. And actually some of it we are still thinking about. I mean, definitely you can prepare some online presentations, but to teach a language you need a practice. And it can be done by different tools we know right now, but it would be also good to have a teacher or a person to practice it. Why I gave this example is that right now I think that all of us are right to the point that we know that we cannot go on without at least collaborating with the tools that we can use based on artificial intelligence. What we need, I think, that is perhaps a reshaping of quality assurance criteria also in the development of the proposal, because there should be ethical recommendations how to use artificial intelligence, both for the development of the proposals and for the evaluating of it. That is what you say, Elizabeth. Definitely all of us are, okay, the majority of us are non-native speakers of English. We need, and I also use it here in Spain, to revise the texts. I think it would also good to go through a long massive of texts and make a summary, or to help during the online meeting or webinars to record all of the discussions that we have and also help with a summary. And I also agree that it should be a human touch to all of this. Any other ideas that you have right now about the tools of artificial intelligence? I don't know, Shinette, you raised the hand, but that was not about this, right?
It's not, but I can add to it. I think that's a really good point, what you're making, Alina. And I think from the point of view of the topics that were discussed, I think by following the steps in the proposal writing and not using AI initially, to map it out so that all the steps are your ideas, and also that it's done ethically as well. But and I suppose the uniqueness comes from not using AI as well, because it can be very evident when you're reading what's AI as well and what isn't. And sometimes the quality isn't as good and the facts probably aren't as right. So I think by having a lot of discussions around the proposal writing initially and mapping it out, doing the logic as well, I think it might help alleviate it. But I mean, I suppose there's great tools there as well that can bring up the quality level as well. So I suppose it's two sides. But I suppose the point that I was going to mention was in terms of quality and best practice in grant management. So I would be involved in consortium management. And what we do is continuous feedback assessment. So after each meeting, we send out a questionnaire and try to improve things and try to, I suppose, solve problems before they escalate as well. So we try to identify problems early so that we can, correct them and to ensure that everybody's included, that there's no issues kind of been festering quietly, that we can help people. So by having anonymous questionnaires throughout it, we're getting this feedback and also improving the process improvement. And great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all, Elizabeth. I'm here listening to the rest of the group.
I see Yara has raised hand.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. You're speaking.
Yara?
If you hear us, write
Yes, I can hear
something
you.
in the
Can you hear me
chat.
now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So hello everyone. It's good to see some of you. I already know a few already. Hopefully we will meet again soon. I have actually 2 points to discuss. So the first one about AI, which I totally agree with you. I was actually reading an article yesterday it's from Princeton University that says AI assisted proposal actually have like a percentage point of 4.9. And these 4.9 can actually be the threshold that connects you to actually getting the grant. Now, there's a difference between getting it AI assisted, not purely written by AI. So it's all of your ideas, your log frame, your activities, but with the assist of the AI, because maybe there are some terminologies or the way it's written. So, I mean, I'm not very experienced with proposal writing. However, I think everyone uses AI, like we said, like whether the writer or the evaluator. And since research are showing that it's more percentage for you, if you do use it, I think you can use that to our advantage while keeping it ethical. The second point is actually, I want to answer or maybe discuss the second point of your PowerPoint, which is the biggest gap between what's written and what happens during implementation, because we actually suffer from this a lot. So what usually happens is that proposals are too ambitious and not very realistic, whether that's number, whether that's activities, or whether the type of stakeholders that they include. So the project got a lot of points and we took the project, but however, in implementation, it's very hard to be realistic. and it's not very reportable because you cannot report it on any force majeure, and you do not have any basis to report, like, why didn't you do what you did? Because it was promised in the proposal. So here is a bit of the difference between, or the line between what's actually written and what's actually being implemented. Sorry if there's a lot of noise next to it.
Yes, go ahead.
No, you go.
I had difficulty to hear part of it. That was my problem. I don't know if you could hear well.
I can't. I'm not sure
Sarah?
if the problem is with my mic. Is it better now?
For
Yeah.
for me, yes. I'm
Or
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. What did you hear anything at all?
A bit,
Or
but it
nothing?
was I had some interruptions, so
Okay.
I
Is there anything you want me to repeat, or I'm not sure if it's you the case or with anyone else also.
is it only me, guys?
Yeah, I heard it very well.
Okay. Okay, then it's only me that I had an interruption. Yara, if you could then, if somebody wants to respond, go ahead. Otherwise, I would need a small summary again.
I don't know if Andrash, you're raising your hand to respond to this,
Andras
maybe?
is raising. Yes, yes.
Yes, hi everyone. Nice to see you all. I would like to now reflect maybe for the first point for the quality assurance. So, our Live Fit project is a little bit different. So I know many of you started with Erasmus Plus. In our company, we started with the framework program. So now Horizon Europe with the framework program 7. And now what we see that as in, I think, all the funding schemes, I mean, I think we can say that it's really crazy. I mean, the number of submitted proposals. Of course, we can, let's say, repeat it again, but it will be much worse in every year, I think, from this point. For quality assurance, I think it's some best practices and what we try to do. For example, I really like to involve one of my colleague who is originally not, let's say, involved in the writing team. So she or he can really check the final version of the proposal with fresh eyes and the call. I think it's super efficient. Secondly, we had a database, so I highly advise to collect all the evaluation reports. You can use AIs, you can, let's say, highlight the main points, and sometimes it's really helpful. So, for example, I have, let's say, a checklist that, okay, did I mention open access? Did I mention multi-actor approach? Did I mention this and that? And what's the concreteness? So this is, let's say, good to have a checklist based on your evaluation letters and the experience. And also, especially in Horizon Europe, I think it's really crucial to read really like twice or 10 times the call text, because sometimes you will be, let's say, amazed that, I missed this point, or it's maybe not so strong. So this is, I think, really crucial, especially in complex Horizon Europe calls, to check again the calls, especially that there are always some tiny rules. For example, with lump sum projects, there is a new rule, so some tables were missed, the number of maximum pages were reduced. So in every, I think, 2 years, there are some small changes which are really crucial. So, for example, we had a mistake. It's a really good example. It was a really huge Horizon Europe project with 9 million euros, with lots of cities and Cambridge and lots of partners. And we lost only half point, and we lost it because the gender equality part was not so strong. So everything was maximum score, but we didn't add too much details on the gender part, and we lost the whole proposal. And it was like a really huge work and business. So sometimes I think also you need luck. And maybe if someone checked only the gender part or checked some parts, maybe could, let's say, add more details or KPIs. And in quality assurance, I think it's also really crucial to know your partners. So especially it's a huge bid to not involve, let's say, random partners because let's say you need to reach almost the maximum score and everyone wants to win. That, for example, we sometimes ensure the quality assurance in the way that we know that there is a good partner. It can be university or NGO, whatever, and they really focusing on the theoretical and on the excellence part of the project. So we don't burden them with admin stuff, with the budgets and with all of this stuff. So we support them with all the admin way. We organize all the event, doing the budget, uploading and collecting everything. So these research partners and researchers can only concentrate on the writing. And for them, it's a huge help because universities are sometimes lack of capacities. So this can be also a good role to, let's say, have a partner who can help to the coordinator or even split the coordination role. And in the end, it will really ensure the quality because they have more time to do that. I think it's not a secret and not a huge surprise, but I think the majority of the proposals are done in the last 2 weeks or even the last week. Yes, for example, at my last point, and I close, that I think to plan before is also really crucial. So in sometimes we made a mistake to, yeah, we are really interested in this code, or yeah, we want to really in and coordinate this project, but sometimes it's not working when you are, let's say, handling more than 20 proposals at the same time. So sometimes nice to have internal deadline. For example, under cluster 2 in mid of September, there will be plenty of really interesting deadlines, but we, let's say, made an internal decision to have our internal calls, which we are in or coordinate or just support end of May. After it, we just join as a partner, maybe write a task, but nothing more. So in this sense, you can prepare your life and even don't mention that the majority of work should be done during the summer break, which is crazy with partners, but yeah, and that's it.
Thank you, Andras. While we're getting in between, Julia, I wanted to mention that in the context of creating nice and meaningful consortia for our proposals, we have created the EUCA network that we started last year in Brussels and Porto. And I wanted to ask you to have a look at, if you want to check the QR. We are organizing our next meeting in Granada. And this is a meeting where we do not do speeches. Sometimes we call one or two people from the national agency of the country that is hosting us, but most of the time, mostly it is brainstorming on proposals, on concept ideas that we are submitting before the workshop. This year is gonna be on the help me, Leroy, 22nd and 23rd of October.
Yes.
22nd, 23rd of October, please check it. And we are brainstorming on specific proposals. We create consortia. We discuss about proposals. It is a 1 day and a half hands-on proposal preparation workshop. So if you want to have a look at what we have done in the previous 2 versions and what we're going to do in Granada, feel free to join us. If you want to see our the news of all the Smart Education Network organizations, you can just check the QR. Leroy, can you change the slide, please?
Oh, yes.
So here is the QR for following us and what we're doing or for all our 4 organizations, and we will be very happy. As Sine had also put a message for connecting with her for projects. We all want to be able to connect with everybody who would like to discuss something with us.
Elizabeth, you have a question in the chat by Yara. She's asking if your event is only for European countries, EU
No, no.
countries. I'm guessing not.
No. We are opening to all types of continents. Africa is in because capacity building is there, Horizon. So yes, everybody is welcome.
And after the event, well, after this webinar, I'm happy to share the contact list with anyone that requires it, and so you can connect to people that were here connected. I also wanted to say that I can see some new members of the network who might want to introduce themselves as well, like Mariana from Romania. She just recently joined our network, and maybe she wanted to say hi to everyone.
Hello everyone, I'm Mariana Wancha. I'm a social worker in as a study specialist, and I'm working with mainly on with elderly in home care services. But For Change Association, that is a new member in this network, has multiple interests. We are having lots of projects with children and other professionals, but I'm specialized in working with elderly mainly. I have coordinated one project, one Erasmus project, because we have entered in this Erasmus family for a few years, 3 years precisely. And it was a little difficult for me to coordinate this Erasmus Plus project, and I was doing a lot of work, and I was a little upset at the end of the project because the score that I obtained on the final report wasn't the score I expected. But now, after this presentation, Elizabeth, and thank you very much, I can understand what points were not very covered, were not covered enough by me in this final report. So next time I will be better. So thank you very much. And the For Change Association I'm working has like 14 years old, and it is the founding member of SeniorNet Federation, as a national federation of NGOs working with elderly all over the country, and I'm coordinating this network as well. And also, it's a member in another federation of organization providing social services in Romania. So we are working also not only on projects, but also in drawing policies for vulnerable groups. So if you have, I will be in Bangor in June, so we'll have the opportunity to talk more about the association or about what we are doing. So
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you, everyone.
Thank you, Mariana. And bye-bye, Barbara, if you're leaving. I can also see some new faces that are not part of the network. If anyone else wants to introduce themselves and make any final remarks. Mariana, representing P from Slovenia, they also recently joined the network. We saw them here in Reus for our networking event in January. Okay, so any
I
final?
think just Julia, to sum up, perhaps we can talk a bit about the workshop, more or less built on the similar topic for our networking event in Bangor on 8th and 9th of June. Elizabeth, Leroy, are you coming there? Okay, they are. Okay. Elizabeth, you're muting. You're muted.
Yes, I did that. Yes, we're coming.
Okay. What do you think? If we make a workshop, and I think it is a good idea to start with a presentation, let's say 20-25 minutes, but then open the floor for the discussion. and exactly like you did here, just to share experiences. Perhaps we can think about some additional questions. But I think that the format of presentation and then open discussion is good. We will have more people, and perhaps those who